Do you guys have a spot in your garden where no matter what you plant, it always dies? So this was happening to one of my really good friends. So she planted a hedge of skip laurels, and 5 of the 12 that she planted died, and she couldn't figure out why. So she ended up ripping out the entire hedge, and then she planted another hedge, except this time it was green giants, because she thought maybe the problem was the fact that they were skip laurels, even though skip laurels are really, really hardy. Same exact thing happened with the green giants. So again, about 5 or 6 of them really weren't doing well. I think 4 of the 6 died. 2 that were remaining were really, really looking sickly, and she couldn't figure out why. So she wanted to go ahead and replace them, but I said, before you plant anything back in, let's take a look, let's pull everything out, and let's see what's going on underneath the surface of the soil, because that's really going to tell us how we're going to fix this issue. So I went over there, I set up a camera, and I'm going to take you along with me to show you guys exactly what I did to assess the situation.
So this project had gone wrong in a couple of ways. Like I had said, originally they had skip laurels here, and about half of those failed. And then they replaced them with thuja green giants, and half of those started struggling too. Then at one point, 3 of the green giants were pulled out and replaced with a completely different variety called leprechaun green giants. And then this threw off the entire look. So now we had a mix of trees, some were failing, some were mismatched, and nothing was really working together anymore. So this was our plan. We were going to assess the remaining green giants and look to see which ones could be saved. There were still a handful that still had dry spots and were still clearly very stressed, but we felt that there were still a couple in there that we could maybe try to revive and then replace the ones that were just a little bit too far gone. Then we were going to take the leprechaun green giants and move them around the pond to create more of a garden room, and then add more of the thuja green giants back into the hedge so it was one cohesive look. But really, the goal here wasn't for me to just do it for them. They really wanted to learn. So I walked them through how to think about it, what to look for, and how to actually fix the problem. So the first thing we did was start pulling out the struggling green giants. The first one was really struggling, and at some point the leader had been cut off, which is the main upright shoot that gives the tree its height. Once those are removed, the tree loses its central structure. So instead of growing tall and full like it should, it starts pushing growth out the sides and can end up looking uneven or stunted. And at that point, we figured it just wasn't worth saving, so we decided to replace it. Before we did that, we looked at the root ball, and this is where things got really interesting. The metal cage was still fully intact. It hadn't started to rust at all. The burlap was still completely wrapped tight around it, and the roots hadn't made any real effort to grow out into the surrounding soil. And this is something I see all the time. A lot of landscapers leave the cage and the burlap on with the idea that it will eventually break down. And while it can happen, I personally don't like taking that chance. Because what often tends to happen in these situations is that the roots stay contained, they don't establish, and the tree never really ends up taking off. So before doing anything else, we needed to understand what else was happening under the soil. So we filled the hole with water to test the drainage. For a hole this size, about 2 feet wide and roughly 2 feet deep, you ideally want the water to drain in about 30 minutes to maybe 2 hours. And this drained in about 15 minutes, which is way too fast. That tells us that the soil isn't holding on to moisture, it's just letting everything pass right through. And that's a big reason why these trees were struggling. They never had consistent water. Now, if the problem was the opposite and it was draining too slowly, let's say it was taking about 3 hours to drain, then we know that the problem was the complete opposite, where the trees were getting root rot. And so we would have approached it a little bit differently. So now that we've identified the water issue, what we're going to work on is shifting into fixing the environment. So for the remaining trees that we're keeping, we're removing the metal cage completely and pulling back the burlap so the roots actually have the ability to grow outward. We're then amending the soil. We add compost into the hole and biotone starter fertilizer. Biotone contains something called mycorrhizae, which is a beneficial fungus that attaches to the roots and helps them absorb water and nutrients efficiently. It's something you use at transplanting or planting, and it gives the plant a much better chance of establishing. Then we carefully place the root ball back into the hole, making sure not to break it apart, and backfilled with a mix of existing soil and compost. And the compost piece is really important here because compost improves the structure of your soil and it helps sandy soil hold onto moisture, but can also help heavier soil loosen up and drain better. So instead of water just rushing through, it actually stays where the plant can use it. And that's really what this whole process comes down to. It's not just about replacing the trees, it's about understanding why it failed in the first place and fixing that before you put anything new into the ground. Because if you don't fix what's happening below the surface, it doesn't matter what you're going to plant next. There's a strong possibility that it just won't survive.
So when we started this whole thing, there was already a lot of time spent, there was a ton of money spent, and there was a lot of frustration building over this portion of the yard. But hopefully by the time we were done assessing, they both had a really clear understanding of what was going on beneath the surface of the soil, which is really what you need to understand best. And that is going to be what gives your garden and your plants the best chance of survival. This is a step that people skip the most, but honestly, it's the step that's the most necessary. Hope you guys found this helpful, and I will see you guys in the garden.